Welcome to Conversations on Nationalist Hub. Today I have with me a very special guest, Shri RVS Mani. No stranger to Nationalist Hub, he has been to the studios before and has spoken extensively on many national issues. Mr. Mani was a former Undersecretary in the Ministry of Home Affairs, later became the director of another government department before he retired. He carries with him a wealth of knowledge about various issues that were happening during the crucial times of 2611 and later. An author of 3 books, The Myth of Hindu Terror, Deception, and When Money Writes. Mr. RVS Mani, prolific speaker, is here in Hyderabad today and he dropped in at our studios at our request. And we are very thankful. Welcome to Nationalist Hub, sir.
Thank you very much. I always feel at home with this Nationalist Hub. That's the reason I make it a point.
Thank you very much, sir. Shri Mani, we have spoken extensively about Pakistan. We have spoken extensively about 2611. We have spoken about various things that happened in the Home Ministry. But just the last 1 week has been very crucial for this Indian subcontinent. We saw what happened in Bangladesh, and it didn't start yesterday. It's been festering from a long time. Not that Sheikh Hasina is a democrat of any order. She had her own dictatorial tendencies like Indira Gandhi. She had her own fall like what Indira Gandhi had. But that's not the worry, sir. The worry is that everybody is talking about, everybody knows it, that there is a deep state involvement in this entire thing. Nepal, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Myanmar, and now Bangladesh. What's happening, sir?
Let us put it very clearly. The last 10 years, I may be a supporter or not a supporter, but the facts on the ground is under Narendra Modi, lot of progress has taken place. Economic progress is happening. Infrastructure is very soundly coming up. And finally, let me put you, the security infrastructure is getting very well reinforced. I always give this example that in 2008 or 9, in Chhattisgarh, this Kanker or Dantewada, when the CRPF used to go in the buses, there used to be ramshackle buses. But now if you see CRPF gun, Jawan or anybody, any personnel carries those days there was a 17 kilo bulletproof jackets and all that. And there was hardly any space to keep those, and they used to keep the ammunitions or communication on the top store. And before, if there was an ambush, the preparation time used to be much more. But now, the investments have happened there. That is not visible to the public at large. But the alacrity and the speed of the Jawans have improved manifold because of this. See, every minute is crucial. It's a crucial in that, and that alacrity, that gaps have been plugged. That is one area. So that's the reason investments are happening. Let us not see what the tax terrorism and all. It's a narrative which is built. So let us get it very clear that we are safer today than what we were 20 years back. I'm taking it 20 years back, is 2004, it all started, and it was very abysmal situation which started on basically 21st September 2004. NAC started its meetings, and thereafter what happened is whole history. Now you issued a very important point. I also flagged this NAC, I brought in NAC deliberate. First thing is Sri Lanka. They got into the cusp of China, got into economic ruin, then India had to bail them out. Pakistan is set up permanent economic ruin after the OBOR and other initiatives have started. And in spite of being a very conservative, supposedly conservative society, the Chinese are using the Pakistan. It's reported off and on in the papers, newspaper and all that. I will not get into that. Nepal has had its own bad ruins because of the Chinese entanglement. Maldives, we have seen what happened. As recent as 6 months back.
Correct.
So, getting into a partnership with China it's a case of cutting the nose to spite the face. If you are getting into friendship with Pakistan, any alliance with China, you are ruining your economy is now getting established. Now the question of you started about the NAC. The NAC also had recommended many, it also had several other committees, a National Commission for Small Scale Industries, Heavy and Public Enterprises, trying to challenge the established system of BIFR or whatever it is worth. Then the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, different by very leading Congress loyal, erudite and illustrious persons. I don't consider the competence was always there. They have record of turning around things. But they were more loyal to the Congress, and some of them were also closely involved with the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation and all. Let us not get into their antecedents. What happened was, we had Bela Bhatia's husband, John Dries, a member of the NAC. Bela Bhatia is the person who is a top-class Naxal supporter. Similarly, there were others like Harsh Mandar getting associated with NAC. We had Dr. Binayak Sen, who was trumpeted as one of the top doctors and all this and this, that and all, being victimized because he's... But on ground, CRPF Jawans 82 battalion was then posted there, have shared CRP officials, who some of them later got posted in the MHA control room. They have shared experiences how an injured CRPF Jawan will be denied treatment, whereas this I have written very exhaustively in my book. Binayak Sen would always help the injured Naxals in an ambush or in a crossfire. And Binayak Sen's clinic and his wife's clinics were used for conspiring against the forces which were on ground at that time. These are all verifiable fact. Now, China, LWE, left-wing extremism or Naxalism is something which was basically getting entangled from its strength from the Chinese state. And we all know what happened in LWE states, how the state was also, for example, I have written about a very interesting thing. Gadchiroli, many Maharashtra policemen had lost their arms. When a policeman loses his arm, there is a court of inquiry.
Correct.
But those things were never held. That means it was all fixed to hand over the weapons to the Naxals there. It cannot happen at the constable or a inspector level, somewhere at the back of them. So these are all things which has happened, and Chinese and NAC partnership was very effective. On the economic front, if you see, in 2000, 2002, 2003, even very small comments and leads like cloth fastening clips or such a small things, or a pin or a
serial lights,
simple serial lights, they were all Indian made. They were all made by the Indians, very barefoot entrepreneurs or micro entrepreneurs, maybe from their homes, like that. But what happened after 2004? It almost vanished. Everything was Chinese. Even the Diwali crackers. Shivakasi was killed to enable, through all the environmental, all sorts of people, to enable Chinese crackers to penetrate into the market. This was all the work. And all these things culminated into a MOU between the International License Department of CCP. Now I'll tell you what is this ILD. ILD is like our IB or RNAW.
Oh.
That is the counterpart of Chinese Communist Party. They don't have a separate institutional intelligence agency. This is how they manage, because CCP and the Chinese government there is no distinction between them. So this is the basic thing. The government of India was not, even for a single investment, a foreign investor coming into India with a clear-cut open policy in an open sector, there is a MHA vetting done. And our division used to do the vetting. In this case, I have participated in FIPB meetings and also only as a MHA representative. It's also a matter of record. We have to say our security clearance in the convey our clearances after taking from several agencies at that meeting. But in this case, there is a major partnership. First thing is a political party getting into a partnership with another political party. It was never vetted by any of the Indian intelligence agencies. So that CCP MOU, the external affairs, although the ambassador was present, Madam Nirupama Menon Rao was the ambassador at that time. She was present at the signing ceremony, but external affairs, home affairs, none of them have an official copy of the MOU. So this is how the deep state works. There was an attempt, and the attempt, you can see the fallout of those attempts. After that, after the Beijing Olympics, this was signed, and thereafter the spate of 2008 was one of the worst years. Spate of terror attacks happened. Ultimately, 2008, Mumbai, it culminated. So, is it a deep state? Pakistan-Chinese partnership is very well known. But were they trying to ruin? And now we are also I personally flagged an issue which is dear to me. I had said that, look, let us simply don't assess the damages in terms of lives lost. The damages are much more bigger. For example, in the 2006 serial train blast, one genetic engineer and a biotechnologist of very extreme potential, I think he was working for Woghart, that Habil Khorakiwala company or something, a very brilliant chap lost his legs, he died. Now see, he could have been a potential scientist for India. Those type of human resource lives lost, then manpower is lost. That nobody has, no government has done an assessment of that. So these are all that further. And 2014 onwards also, see what happened in Thoothukudi, Vedant. That was meeting the 40% of India's copper requirements and simply killing that. Now the locals want, even those protesters, leaders want it to be opened.
That's the irony of it.
That's the irony of it, because they are jobless. Those handlers who are paying them hefty handouts these days, they have withdrawn their hands.
Now we are an importer of copper.
No,
that's a sad
no, that was simply turned around. And the basic imports are coming, copper is coming from China. So it's a dependency on China. And we had an excellent plant, and what did they do?
That is true.
So that deep state was working there, that deep state was Kodangulam also. And another very important factor I want to highlight here, if you take out the MHA website, FCRA, 2001 to 2018, 1,01,000 crores of money was received in FCRA.
By whom?
By different NGOs. If you see the NGOs, around 55% of these were Islamic groups. I have done a study on that. Around 25% was going, 25 to 30% was getting for the evangelist groups. And take it forward, another 10% was going for this type of Greenpeace movement and this movement, Amnesty, all the disruptors of India. It is only after we had flagged it somewhere that some sort of a tweaking happened. Honorable Home Minister had done it. He put certain conditions. Immediately after that, what happened was they refused to apply for extension because they know that they would not meet the conditions.
And they have to give in the audit numbers also. They are not
numbers. And basically this FCRA, there are several factors. FCRA fund cannot be used for capitalization. All of them will have big buildings.
That's true.
So there are so many issues about that. And so what happened, what the media says, Mother Teresa's, the headline says, Mother Teresa's outfit has been refused extension. They did not apply for extension because they do not meet the criteria imposed by the Home.
In fact, that's what Mr. Mani is. Sorry interrupting you there, because people don't understand all this.
Right.
A normal citizen doesn't understand unless a person like you, who's been in a responsible position, explains this. What is an FCRA? What is applying for extension? What is the audit procedures? How many people submitted? How many did not submit? Capital expenditure cannot be. All these are there. But the major worry is not even that. If you remember the farm agitation, the farmers' agitation, the fake farmers' agitation, if you can call it, the entire thing was funded from abroad. There again, huge amounts of money would have come in. Modi ji's life was under threat one day.
Right.
Now, when you look at the entire thing, you realize that be it Canada or be it UK or wherever the funding is coming from, there is somebody behind all this who's making this happen. They have destabilized 6 nations around us. We are like Israel today. And now they're targeting us. And we saw Salman Khurshid say that yesterday, saying that Modi could be next.
That is extremely unfortunate. On this front, of course, the present legal framework, including the Bharat Nyaya Samhita, does not take care of that. The sedition is a clause which was in the IPC, but the Supreme Court has reserved its commitment to that, acknowledgement to that. So, Honorable Supreme Court is entitled to review. But the question is, what happened in Hussainiwala? You are talking about.
Correct, sir.
It is not Narendra Modi or RVS money. The Prime Minister of the country was exposed to Pakistani army range for 20 minutes.
Anything could have happened.
Any mad, is like one, if you remember 2nd October 1986, some mad Navy man attacked Rajiv Gandhi in God of Honor. No, God of Honor in Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka, I remember
Sri Lanka.
Yes,
Sri Lanka.
I remember that.
Some mad soldier simply sends in a IED or a rocket or something like the rocket missile, they all have access to all that. Then it would have been a national shame. And the opposition was trying to not only bail it, they were trying to mock the Prime Minister on this. Like they are doing, mocking the Prime Minister, blaming the Prime Minister for Vinesh, with the, what is that lady, Fogel. I do not know what is the, today in Parliament, don't they have issues? The country is having much major problems. After the 2025, see, my take is even the 240 number from 303 itself is a conspiracy of the deep state. I would not mince words on that.
Yeah, social media was extensively used to discredit the Modi government.
Discredit the Modi government in all sorts of ways. And somewhere even mostly unrelated thing. Now, Hussainiwala case, if you see, we have to simply add the dots. Sri Lanka, we have seen what is the situation now. Everywhere, and Myanmar is always in a very state of flux. So we do not touch that. But again, because of the Myanmar and that 16 kilometer no man's
problem. Manipur, we have a problem there.
We are having a problem and continuous problem. Mizoram also, they come and work here from Myanmar. So in Tangsal area and all that, there is a lot of problems there. So this is something, huge conspiracy is happening. As you said, they are trying, already made a Israel out of India, surrounded by all hostile nations. And all hostile nations, having said that, now what has happened, for example, the Wayanadu case now, recent Wayanadu, unfortunate deaths were happened. Gadgil committee report was rejected by Jairam Ramesh.
Kasturi Rangan report was rejected.
Rejected. But the question is, the same NGOs kept quiet, which the Greenpeace and the same NGOs which were shouting over rooftops in the Vedanta matter, did not do anything during those days, which was such a major terrain was getting away. It's also the same ecological disaster, whereas Vedanta was not such a, there are, in an industrial plant, there are means and modern technologies have come up for cleaner technologies, cleaner production methods, etc. But in this, simply Wayanadu, and what has happened today is that the person who was honorably elected as a member of parliament from there for the second term abandoned that constituency.
That's true. And people are asked to be resettled in the same constituency for which he was an MP.
Right.
And either he did not know or he did not act on it.
And that's the way it is. Now what has happened in Wayanadu is personally Congress's blame.
That's true. Mr. Mani, that's exactly the point. Now, when we look at Modi's government, the third term of the Modi's government, there is always this threat on around his post, around his chair. The problem with the deep state is they know that they can influence a few actors in India. They already have a number of them in their pockets by Nobel Prize, Magsaysay Awards and all that. Now the question is, where is a threat to Modi coming from? We all know farm laws are kept aside. Today we are seeing WAF Act coming up. There again was a lot of hangama in the parliament today. Then you would see possibly the UCC coming up, the Uniform Civil Code, which the Supreme Court itself said is required. Where do you think, because they are trying to corner Narendra Modi everywhere, trying to use issues which are not relevant at all. Is the same thing now, what happened to Sheikh Hasina Wajid, getting youngsters on the streets, talking about NEET exam, talking about what happened in NEET, or getting the Agniveer scheme, which is a very emotional issue up north, into a kind of violent act, because we saw that happening before also. Do you think the Congress and the CPM and all will not shy away from all this?
Indeed, they are being handled by their handlers from behind the curtains. Who is that? We do not know. Now about the UCC, it is a constitutional mandate.
Correct.
Directive principle is not enforceable, but it's a mandate for the state.
Correct, sir.
It is not enforceable by individual, but it's a mandate for the state. And that's what, and the Supreme Court has reinforced it off and on. So UCC, CAA did not affect any Indian Muslims sitting resident of that, but they sent a canard.
That's true.
And who sends a canard? And who is the negotiator? One Wajad Abibullah, who was again a Secretary General of National Advisory Council.
And Information Commissioner.
And very close to the same parivar. So this is the way, say first you bring out any policy reform. For example, in the farmers' agitation or that fictional agitation, who lost it? The real farmers.
Correct, that's true.
I agree that there was an informational vacuum. A policy was good, but it could not go to the Antoyo, they are the last man. The Director of Field probably should have immediately taken it down to at that level, but there are certain hierarchies in the government which needs to be followed, and that period of lead time was used by the anti-India forces and penetrate a negative thing about the
anti-India forces. This is exactly where I want to bring you in. Canada. Again, we saw one of the biggest sponsors of terrorism. Of course, UK used to do that before, but I think UK has quietened down a bit now. But Canada is the latest thing, and we all know what happened. US defends a guy who openly threatens our Prime Minister and says don't attack him, provides him security. Do you think the United States is scared of India becoming popular, powerful? They want India at the same time because they want to counter China. We are in the Quad. We are in G7. But at the same time, US, we all know what happened in Bangladesh was a US game plan. They even denied visa to Sheikh Hasina now. So do you think somewhere along the way, US is playing a double game with us?
Indeed. For example, now Mohammad Yunus being the interim head of the state government, the biggest giveaway that there is whose hand it is in the entire thing. So that gets reinforced that Mohammad Yunus getting into a Nobel Prize winner and a dear friend of US and all that. So from on that side, you said US, Canada has not today. UK again has a different composition, political composition, and they are suffering because of those only. The immigration problems are happening, and immigrants and the Muslim immigrants are
there's a major issue.
That's happening in France also. Recent change of guard, Germany, Belgium. In fact, one of the Monovic district, they are claiming for a Sharia law.
I think only Poland and Hungary are left. They are the only two nations which stood tough and said we will not allow any such fellows into our country, and I think they are doing well now.
They are doing well. So the question again is, with the US, the election is poised, and the Democrats are with these people who are anti-India, and it is well established. And what has happened? Why should Europe has also have burnt their fingers admitting all this of liberalism and secularism and refugee and human rights.
All isms are there.
And the human rights issues and all that. Now they are burning their fingers. Their own women are being jihaded.
Correct, sir.
So that deep state is working there to crumble their economy. Now the next economic powerhouse which is developing into a powerhouse, I would carry it a chariot of development. It's a bandwagon which is happening is India. Not only in IT, 2004 the manufacturing sector was not so bad, but later on it receded over the last 8 years, 2018 also, and 2018 to 14, 2012 to 14 there was a policy paralysis. The reason for policy paralysis, I think the congressmen know why and how the
license Raj is run.
No, license Raj is something beyond that. There are big stories there. The congressman should come out, and if one congressman is willing to defect and confess what happened in the Panchavati in 2012, that will put the record straight. Otherwise, it is all well established. Orders were issued. Department of Cabinet Affairs orders were there that all cabinet notes
should go to
National Advisory Council, and their opinion will be placed. And that's the biggest.
That is an extra constitutional authority that was built up actually.
See, normally the protocol is Planning Commission, which has been there. Planning Commissions of things are there. Department of Expenditures comments are applied. Either they said either National Manufacturing Committee, Competitive Council or National Advisory Council, whatever it is, one of these places, you have to obtain the comments and then place it in the note. And that is a clincher. So this is how, I mean, that is one part of the story, and my security concerns could be compromised because of that.
True, that's true. Mr. Mani, that is where the worry is, because as again keep repeating myself, the layman doesn't understand all this. For him, the onion prices are important. Right. For him, the petrol prices are important. Rahul Gandhi says, I'll give you 8,000 rupees per month. That is important. We know what's happening in the UK today. You spoke about it. One of the biggest problems UK is facing, the immigration is a big draw. They don't go to Saudi Arabia. They don't go to Oman. They don't go to Qatar, which is the headquarters of terrorism. But they go to UK. They go to France. They go to Germany. Because UK especially gives doles. You sit at home and we will give you money, which is exactly what Rahul Gandhi says. That is a big draw. So for a family of 6, they get what, 600 pounds per person. So that is a huge amount of money. Man, your reward here for Manrega scheme, our people have to slog on the field at least 100 days in a year. But there they don't have to. You sit in your home and you get paid and you eat.
See, when I was in UK in 93, 94, you would find Bangladeshi and Pakistani immigrants producing 9 children. I said, what is the 9 number? He said, that is where the optimum place where the
You can
doles get frozen.
Okay, after that you don't get anything.
Additional you don't get. For every child you get milk allowance, this, that and all. And what happened was, this same fellow will show himself as unemployed. And there are a lot of shops, Pak Gulzar, Bismillah shops and all the grocery. They call it Indian grocery shops. There he will be working informally. See, UK, that shopkeeper also will not employ a regular UK man. It's a matter of fact, they can, UK government can go and verify. I have personally spoken to them. There the regulations, labor regulations will be there, 8 hours and...
That's true. They're very strict.
Whereas these fellows will work at half the price, half the rate.
For longer hours.
12 hours a day, no chutti, no Boxing Day holiday, no Christmas holiday. So all 7 days, and he will make more money and also take the dole for 9 children.
That's exactly the point. How do we prevent what happened in UK and other places? Because we have a Rohingya issue. We have Bangladeshis coming into our country. Now the problem will get accentuated because even Bangladeshi Hindus will now jump in and come to India. So how do you think the Indian government, because we have a very short window where there is a huge number of Hindus waiting to cross over into India, and there are a huge number of Bangladeshi Muslims here who want to go back to the homeland also because they have some issues. They don't have medicines, so they're buying medicines from here and taking it there. So I read in today's newspapers. So the question is, how will India handle all this? Because tomorrow we can become another Britain, isn't it?
It is already, see, for example, certain parts.
West
in
Bengal.
Northeast, Himanta Biswal Sharma actually took over very late.
Sarbanda Sonowal was there before.
No, Himanta Biswa Sharma took over very late in the sense, not in terms of individuals. By that time, as per the statement of Mr. H.S. Brahma, Chief Election Commissioner, ex-former, in 2012 he had said 12 districts of Assam have become Muslim majority.
That's true. All
so that's the reason I say Himanta Biswal Sharma, had he taken over earlier to that,
before Gogoi or somebody,
he would have at least arrested this. Few of the districts, Karimganj and few other districts might have changed. That is one. Even now, he has kept the problem under control. It is not accentuating, but we require more Himanta Biswa Sharma in other places.
We hope.
Tripura, Biplab Dev did a wonderful job.
Correct.
So Biplab Dev also has...
Biren Singh is not bad. Biren Singh cracked down on the cocaine mafia and the...
Right. That's the reason he's still being picked up.
So actually, Mr. Mani, in fact, wonderful talking to you because I'm sure that next time when you're here in Hyderabad, we'll have some more conversations with you because you have a wealth of knowledge, some of which you can't disclose, some of which you can disclose. I know the Official Secrets Act always hangs over your head. And but for a normal layman, I hope today's conversation is a kind of an eye-opener to understand what are the issues. Manipur is not just Manipur. There are many other issues. Okay, West Bengal is not just West Bengal, or the Muslim domination of Assam is not that. Jharkhand and himself, who congressmen themselves are saying that Jharkhand's profile is being changed.
Right.
Because people from Bihar are settling down there.
It's not Bihar.
We know that.
They call them Bihari Muslims, but they are not Biharis.
That's exactly the point, Mr. Mani. That's what I'm saying. They want to camouflage that also because they cannot openly say Rohingyas.
Not only Rohingya, see, for example, if you go to the Murshidabad LOP, the IL, after the BSF closes the gate, at around 11 o'clock, something like BH, something, there's a marriage, this party. 40 fellows will enter. Local MLA will force the concerned 2IC or Deputy Commissioner, Deputy Commandant to force open he will enter and then... See, the BSF has been taking a bad name because people don't know. They think that BSF is corrupt. No, it is not that. Ask the local MLA, Berhampur MLA from Murshidabad. Why does he have to allow, put pressure on a central force to allow this?
That is why Mamata Banerjee got upset when the BSS range of investigation was expanded. That is what. Mr. Mani, all in all, the country is at a crossroads.
Certainly.
And that is what we need to be worried about. The people of this country are more worried about small things like income tax and other things. I know it's a big thing, but there is, if the nation goes, what income tax is there? Or what premium on medical insurance is there if the nation itself goes like Bangladesh? Because there are more enemies sitting within India. We are not, as you told me yesterday, we are not fighting a 2.5 front war, we are fighting a 3.5 front war.
Right.
Because we have a full-fledged internal urban Naxal group who are creating havoc in this country, the JNU plus others. So thank you very much for speaking to us at Nationalist Hub, sir.
Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you again in
Sure,
Hyderabad.
sure.
Thank you very much, sir. Namaste.
Namaste.